Irashaimase! Hello and welcome to Fitaurus Kitchen. I'm your host, Chef Fitaurus. It's time once again for Shoot 'em Up Saturday. And on the menu for this Saturday, we have Resogun, Housemarque's PlayStation 4 launch title. So this is a voxel-based, side-scrolling, defender-type shoot 'em up. So what kind of taste will that go and have? Let's get cooking and find out. So the game itself does actually offer a fair bit of variety to it. It goes and has both single player and multiplayer modes, and the multiplayer are both online and couch. So if you want to go and play this with somebody else, the option is totally there, and I highly recommend you go and do so, as that's actually a lot of fun to go and play it that way. In addition to going and having the different modes, you also have a weekly challenge from the main menu here, and this is still going and being updated, administered, however you want to go and say, even a couple years after the title is concerned. So if you still want to go and play this game and go and play the weekly challenge, it is still available, so just keep that in mind. So the base game itself does go and have actually a fair bit of variety to it. We'll hop into the single player. So there's the arcade mode as well as the single level mode. So arcade goes and allows you to go and play through all of the stages consecutively, which can be quite difficult on one continue, but definitely still doable depending on your difficulty level. And then single level goes and allows you to go and play through just one of the 5 base stages. Then you also go and have feats, which are where you can go and check out the feats you've been able to go and accomplish in the game itself, and then also challenges. So the challenges have these individual challenges that are for both the base game and the DLCs that you can go and, challenge yourself with. There are certain requirements to each challenge to go and change things up, and it's a fun way to go and tackle the title, especially if you've already gone and exhausted the base modes. As far as the base game itself, let's go and have a look at that, shall we? So we're going to go and just play a single level. You go and have 3 difficulty, or I'm trying to remember if veterans unlocked from the get-go or not. I believe you have 3 difficulty settings that are available when you go and start the title, and then if you've gone and cleared a stage on veteran, you unlock the master mode for it, which is actually quite difficult. So we're just going to be playing on experienced for today. Then we get to go and select our ship. So there's 3 main ships that go and come with the base game, and then there's other ships that you can go and download, and there's also a ship editor, so you can go and create custom looking ships as well, which is a lot of fun, and it's also possible to go and download ships through their server, so that's a lot of fun if you have a particular kind of favorite ship that you want to go and actually find and fly around as, or if you want to go and make something ridiculous like a flying toaster or something like that. But anyway, there are 3 main ships that you go and have available from the get-go. You have the Speedy Nemesis, that's emphasis is on speed and agility, but not so much firepower. Then there's the heavy-hitting Phobos, but it's definitely a slower ship. And then there's the balanced Ferox, which is the one I'm going to go and be using to show off the game today. So there are 5 stages total in the game itself, the base game anyway, that you can go and play. And as you've gone and played and unlocked them in arcade or lower difficulties, then you can go and access them in single levels as well. So we're just going to go and be showing off the game with the first stage here, Axis, or Assist, however you'd want to go and pronounce that. Let's get cooking! So the game goes and shows you the controls real quick while it's loading, and then once it's finished loading, you can go and jump right in. So real quick, base controls. This primarily goes and plays similar to a twin stick shooter. You go and use the left stick to go and move the ship, and the right stick to go and indicate which direction you're actually going and shooting. In addition to that, we also have a few other options there for both movement and attack. There's a boost, which goes and quickly recharges, and I can go and show off. It allows you to go and dash to quickly get away from enemies, as well as go and destroy enemies that you go and crash into. There's also a bomb, which you unfortunately have limited amount of, so I'm not going to go and show that off just yet. And an overdrive, which you have to go and charge up. And you charge that up by going and collecting these green energy pellets that the enemies you defeat go and leave behind. So now that we've got the basis of the controls out of the way, let's go and talk a little bit about what we're actually going and doing. So the objective of the game is, of course, to go and destroy the enemies, but we're also trying to go and save all the humans as well. So how do we go and do that? As we go and progress through the stage and the different phases, we'll go and have enemies called keepers go and show up. And we have to go and destroy all those keepers, which are glowing green like these guys right here. And if we do, then we are able to go and free a human from their square prison. So once we've gone and freed a human, we have to go and pick them up before the enemy goes and comes to go and take them away in the form of a UFO that goes and draws them up and then disappears with them. Once we've gone and picked up a human, we have to go and take them to one of these beacons, and then they are saved. But that's not entirely the only way that we can go and save humans as well. There's a couple secret humans that you have to go and meet a particular requirement for. And that requirement is actually can be quite difficult. Ah, dang it. I let a keeper get away. If you let a keeper get away, then a human goes and dies. Which is not desirable, but oh well. Unavoidable in that situation anyway. I missed the fact that there were keepers coming for the time being. Anyway, the other way that you can go and save a human, the secret humans, is through multiplayer. Your multiplier has to go and be at a particular level at a set point in the phases of the stage, otherwise the human will be considered lost. So, in order to go and keep up your multiplier, how do you go and do that? Well, basically, always going and being destroying enemies and never going and letting that multiplier go and reset back to 1. So you do that by not dying, and also by destroying enemies in a set period of time. As time moves on, the multiplier will go and reset itself if you haven't gone and destroyed an enemy in a particular amount of time. I'm not 100% sure what the time window on that is, and I think it actually does vary depending on your difficulty setting, so keep that in mind. Alright, looks like I was able to go and save both secret humans for this particular stage. So, nearly a perfect human saving spree, but if I hadn't missed that one, it would have been. So at this point, we could go and let the multiplier fall and it wouldn't be that big of a deal, but since it's also a point-based game, we want to go and keep it as high as possible. So I have gone and charged up my overdrive at this point, so let's go ahead and show that off. So if you access your overdrive, you get the super powerful laser that goes and fires until it runs out of charge. And you can go and destroy a lot of enemies, as well as go and get a lot of points with it as well. Alright, and we just rescued the last human for the stage. So you can go and see a progress meter for where you are in the stage itself on the bottom there. It goes and indicates what point of the phase you happen to go and be in. So it's useful to go and keep track of that so you know just how much of the stage you have left if you want to go and make use of bombs or happen to save your or if you happen to go and be saving your overdrive for the boss per se. Then once you go and make your way through all 3 phases of the stage itself, we go and encounter a boss, which should actually be coming up here in just a moment. So in addition to their base stats going and being different, one thing that's different about the other 2 main ships are the type of weapons they go and use. So with the Fitaurus here, we're going to have just a basic straight laser, and that's more or less the case with the Nemesis as well. But as you go and get weapon upgrades, the Nemesis also goes and happens to get a really useful homing shot, which goes and does make up to a certain extent for its weaker overall firepower. And the Fitaurus has a short range laser, but especially if you get close to an enemy, you can go and do a lot of damage really quickly. Not really all that critical for the stages themselves, but it's really useful for bosses. So it's definitely a toss-up between being able to go and deal a lot of damage and being able to go and move quickly. So this boss here has 3 plates around the outer edge that we have to destroy, and then once that's the case, we can go and access these green weak points. If we go and destroy those, we access the next phase of the boss, which is this inner core, and all these lasers that go and keep us kind of pinned. So here we need to go and shoot through all these platings, get to that inner core, live dangerously, and then we'll have one more phase in just a second. And then the final phase, and here we'll just finish them off with the overdrive. In the eye of the fire, because you have to go and end it with style. Then once you've gone and finished a stage, you go and get this really awesome voxel-based explosion of the entire stage itself. The game's aesthetic is beautiful since everything is gone represented in those small, like square, pixel, voxel-based graphics. So you have a lot of interesting, like high-definition pixely art, and then of course the ability for these massive, beautiful explosions. Yay! High score on that stage on that difficulty setting. That's awesome. Of course, you have all that scoring that goes and takes place at the end of the stage. So the game also has, moving on to what else the game has to go and offer, there are 2 DLC packs that are available for the game itself. Heroes and Defenders. I'm going to go and play one mode quickly out of both of those, just to go and give you a little bit of idea of what's there. As well, since the game's been out for a while, you can usually go and get it and the DLC for relatively inexpensive. So let's go and have a look at this. The 2 modes that are added to the game with the Heroes DLC are Survival and Demolition. And I'm going to go and show off Demolition real quick. Well, it won't really matter since I can't actually shoot, so I guess we'll go ahead and keep on sticking with the Ferox here. I probably should have showed off the other 2 ships, but if you're interested in going and picking up this game, I would highly, highly recommend going and doing so, and then you can go and see how they move for yourself. So in this mode, we can move, but we can't go and shoot. But we can explode. So we have this little orb here, and the idea is we want to go and explode into it in such a way that we go and send it flying around the stage, going and demolishing everything around. So here we go. And as the stage goes and progresses, enemies go and start showing up, which we can go and use the explosion to go and destroy, as well as our own little wrecking ball that we're going and sending crashing around the stage. Sometimes we have to go and try and actually maneuver around to where it's at, though. So it's a really strategic mode compared to a lot of other, well, shoot-'em-up game modes that are out there. So it's fun because of the unique elements that they went and added to it, but it can go and get difficult quite quickly, as not only you're trying to go and dodge the enemies, going and dodging your own wrecking balls can go and get problematic, and the screen just goes and gets more and more hectic the longer things go on. There are also a lot of power-ups available, like multi-balls and recharges. Really, it's just a fun mode, but one hit and that's it, you're done. So that's Demolition, which in and of itself is a lot of fun, but one of my favorite modes DLC-wise is in the Defender DLC, which goes and brings Protector, which is an interesting long-form version of the base game, but you have some extra new power-ups to it. You're saving humans, building cities, and going and progressing through the game that way. It is really neat. But then there's Commando, which goes and takes the game and goes and kind of twists things a little bit, saying, what if you're not the ship going and trying to save humans? What if you are the last human trying to go and defend your home from all these incoming asteroids and whatnot? So let's go ahead and fire that one up. And then there's a lot of fun with what they've gone and done, even with just the voice clips itself. If you go and listen to it, you should be able to go and tell where they got the inspiration from that. So here we are in Commando mode. So we have to go and shoot all these meteors that are going and trying to destroy our house. I'm not sure, why sentient meteors are going being thrown at our house, but no matter what, we need to defend it. So we're going to do just that. So this is a wave-based mode, and as we go and progress through the game, we go and at the end of each wave will go and be one of these giant meteors with a health bar that we have to take down. And then we can also go and get weapon power-ups as we go. There are 20 total waves for this particular mode, so it can go and get quite hectic later on. But it's also a lot of fun, and this one is superb multiplayer. So if you have the ability to go and play it multiplayer, definitely take that opportunity. So in addition to being able to go and move and shoot, one thing that this mode also goes and brings to the table, we have the ability to, of course, dash. This is gonna take a while. So yep, there's some of the fun with the sound clips. And then you can also jump. And of all of the DLC that's available for this game, this mode in particular is definitely my favorite. So that'll just about go and wrap up my look at Resogun for this week's Shoot 'em Up Saturday. As always, if there are other Shoot 'em Up titles that you think I should go and be having a look at on Shoot 'em Up Saturday, I'd love to go and hear about them. So please go and leave those in the comments below. In addition to that, I want to thank you so much for going and coming out and joining me today for Shoot 'em Up Saturday, and I look forward to going and seeing you again next week.